This is a video for documents A and B for the Mansa Musa assignment. Okay, this is gonna help you guys finish the whole assignment because you need to know both documents A and B to complete document C. Okay, so this is the document here. All right. I also included a link if you guys want to read an article about how Mansa Musa crippled the economy in Cairo when he visited there. Okay, but this is the document that we're going to be looking at. All right. Now, the purpose is for you guys to read closely onto these documents, these primary and secondary sources. This document is known as a secondary source. Okay, it's a secondary source. All right, that's another assignment you guys should have done by now. The primary and secondary source ed puzzle. That's something you should have done by now. Okay, every time you read a document, the first thing I want you to do is read the source, which is the Huffington Post, October 17, 2012, and then read the title. Okay, the title is actually here. This is the actual title. Mansa Musa Mali named the world's richest man of all time. Gates, Buffett also make the list. So this is basically telling me Mansa Musa is the richest man of all time. This article is going to be about that. It's going to probably verify that. It's going to talk more about it, or it's going to basically explain to me why he is the richest man of all time. All right. So just please pay attention to that. Make sure you read also this. Okay. So we're going to read the questions first, and then we'll go from there. So sourcing, who created this blog post and when was it created? Why do you think it was written? All right. Of course, I already have my answer there. I'll show the answer again. But let's read this. The following is an excerpt from a blog post that appeared in the Huffington Post on October 17, 2012. It describes a study on the wealthiest people in world history done by Brian Warner, the founder of Celebrity Net Worth, an online publication that investigates the lifestyles of the rich and famous. Okay, so this is like a secondary source. A primary source is a source that was there when it happened during the time of the event. He was there. They were there personally, or they were there at the time of the event. Okay, this of course was written in 2012. Mansa Musa died around the year 1338. So of course, the Huffington Post writer and Brian Warner, the founder of Celebrity Net Worth, was not alive. So this will be considered a secondary source. Okay. Number one, here is the answer. Go ahead and put pause right now to copy the answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So who created this blog post? It was the Huffington Post. The Huffington Post were the ones that created this blog post, but they used the information from Brian Warner as their source. So it's a secondary source using another secondary source, which is Brian Warner. They also use the Encyclopedia Britannica. All right. When was it created? It was written, or you could put written or created, on October 17, 2012, hundreds of years after Mansa Musa died. Now, I did not include the answer to this question. All right, so you should be one more sentence here. Why do you think it was written? You need to tell me. Okay, why do you think it was written? What is the purpose for them to write it? What is the purpose for them to come up with the title like this, and what was the purpose for them to write it? Okay, think about it. People about the media, people always want to, show off their money, right? Think about that. Okay, and explain to me and add another sentence right here about that. Okay, number two, close reading. What is the main point of the blog post? Well, the main point is to verify that Mansa Musa is really the richest man in world history. So if you want, go ahead and pause right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have to identify two claims it makes. Okay? There are many claims it makes throughout the passage. All right? I already put some highlighted. I already highlighted some. So it claims that Mansa Musa is the richest person ever. It claims that he was worth $400 billion. It claims that he made a pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324. It claims that his gold was so shiny that it outshined the sun, the African sun, because remember they were in North Africa. They went to North Africa and the Arabian Peninsula. He never went to Europe. And then they also claim that the West African nation, the Mali Empire, which Mansa Musa was the emperor of, was responsible for more than half of the world's salt and gold supply. So you had to put any of these highlighted sections into one sentence and make it into your own words. And that will be following the answer for number 2. Okay? Number 3, what evidence does it use to support its claims? The evidence that supports these claims are the Encyclopedia Britannica, Brian Warner, which is the founder of Celebrity Net Worth, and the Huffington Post used as a source, and also the first-hand accounts of his pilgrimage to Mecca. And by his, I mean Mansa Musa. So if you want, you can put Mansa Musa's pilgrimage. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage to Mecca. Okay? Now, number 4. That is your own opinion. Do you think the information in this blog post is trustworthy? Why or why not? Okay? So, you need to tell me if it is trustworthy. But you can't just put, I believe that the blog post is trustworthy because I believe it's trustworthy. No, you can't put that. Okay? You have to give me a reason. You have to give me an actual reason as to why do you think it's trustworthy. Okay? So make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. Now the next one. Document B. Okay? First thing I want you guys to think, is this a primary or secondary source? Again, Mansa Musa died, and we could look it up right here, right now. Mansa Musa died around 1337. Okay? He died around 1337. Right off the bat, looking at this, the source, it was written in 1375. Okay, so almost 40 years after he died. So does that mean he was there? Does that mean that this man here, Abraham Cresques, was there? No, he wasn't there. Okay, so just by that, the fact that he wasn't there, and then we'll read here. So we read the source, Abraham Cresques, 1375. The title is Catalan Atlas. An atlas is a map. Okay, we'll read this next. The Catalan Atlas is a medieval map from Spain drawn in 1375 by a map maker named Abraham Cresques. Cresques had never visited West Africa but relied on the accounts of travelers and traders to make his map. Okay? So, that means he was never there. He never saw Mansa Musa himself. So that would not be a primary source. One, it was almost 40 years after he died. And two, it was not during, he never met them. He never met him. He wasn't there in North Africa when this happened. Okay? And we'll continue here. The Black Lord is called Musa Mali, Lord of the Black people of Mali, basically the leader, the emperor of the Mali Empire. So abundant is the gold. You see that they only mention gold. They don't mention salt, which is found in his country that he is the richest and most noble king in all the land. That is inscribed in the Atlas. Okay, that is inscribed in the Atlas. Okay. Now here are the answers. This is not the full answer for number 2 though. This is the answer for number 1 though. Okay? What kind of document is this? Who created it and when? This document is a medieval map. It states right here, medieval map. It's an atlas. And it was created by Abraham Cresques. The source is right there. It was created in the year 1375, almost 40 years after Mansa Musa died. It is a secondary source because Abraham Cresques was not there during Musa's pilgrimage. Now, corroboration. Corroboration means to work together. Historians corroborate, get many different sources to work together to find the most accurate depiction of what really went down. Because again, it's not like we have a time machine and we could go back to see exactly what happened, right? So they look at many different sources, people that were there, people that wrote down what they saw, and try to see what exactly went down, what exactly is true. Okay, and this is something that we're going to be doing for the next set of questions as well. How does the Catalan Atlas compare to the Huffington Post blog post in terms of its depiction of Mansa Musa? Okay, since this atlas was created during the time of the Mali Empire, it was unknown that he would be known as the richest person in history. Okay, so you could say there is a time difference. There is a significant time difference. What else do they talk about? What else do they share? They talk about how much that he had a lot of gold. Abundant is the gold. Okay, so if you can highlight that, we talk about how much gold he had. We talk about right here. They mention that he is from Ali. Okay, they talk about he is the richest and most noble king in the land. So they talk about during that time he is the most richest king. They didn't know in the whole history though. In document A, which is the blog post, they talk about he is the richest man ever, the richest person ever. Okay, so you could talk about that. One says that he was the richest person ever. One talks about says that he's the richest person in the land. They knew that he was the richest person in the land, but they didn't know that he was going to be the richest person ever. They didn't know how much he was worth as well. Well, consider today. He was, you could say, in this blog post, they know since it was written currently, they know the exact amount he was worth. They both talk about his pilgrimage to Mecca. Okay, they both talk about his pilgrimage to Mecca, and they both talk about his gold. You could also mention in the blog post they mentioned that he had salt. They talk about salt. Salt helped him out with having his net worth, how much he had. In this one, I don't see anything that refers to salt. It only talks about the gold. So that's another thing you could add right there. Okay? So please finish this before you go on to the next document C, which I'll make another video for. Do you think this is an accurate depiction of Mansa Musa? Why or why not? Do you think this is an accurate depiction of him? Do you think this is pretty accurate compared to the blog post, compared to what you already know? Is that an accurate depiction? Okay, so please email me if you have any questions. All right, email me if you have any questions.